Hello and welcome to Build Series Sydney. I'm your host, Danny Clayton, and joining me now, the stars from cowboy thriller gun-slinging series, Wynonna Earp, Michael and Dominique. Round of applause for our guests. Hello, how are you both?
Very well.
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, now you guys are fresh off the boat. This is the first time to Australia, I believe.
This is my first time.
For you, Michael.
And mine, yeah.
You've got family in Perth, don't you?
I do. Well researched there, Danny.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Good start. How often do you come to Australia with family here?
No, I've never been. This is my first time.
No way.
I know. I don't even know if my family in Perth know that I'm here. Shh.
Okay, we won't.
Do they know you exist?
They do know exactly.
Okay, we won't tell them that you're here. But while you're here, of course, you are partaking in Comic-Con Australia. How has it been so far? How have the dates been in around the country?
Well, we started in Brisbane, which I fell in love with.
Okay.
So I was really excited to come to Sydney and see what Sydney had to offer, and I'm falling in love with Sydney as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, already you've ticked off one of the most cliche tourist things to do in Australia.
Hold a koala bear?
Yep, you cuddled the koala bear.
I did it.
I didn't hold a koala.
I did it.
I didn't do it.
You
no.
didn't?
But I went to a koala rehabilitation centre, which was, I think, probably just as cool.
Yeah.
Probably cooler.
Yeah.
I mean, funnily enough, we actually had a koala on this show.
What? In the studio?
In the studio. And I got to cuddle a koala. How was it for you, Mikey? Did you?
It was everything I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Quick. It was 3 seconds long. You hold it, they take it away.
Yeah.
Oh, just when
you get attached, they
Oh, no.
rip it from your hands.
Yeah. So you got to experience some of our nicer animals. I hear that you've also
beautiful,
been
beautiful
warned about some of the gnarlier animals that we have in the country.
Yeah,
I fall in love with the ibis.
The ibis.
The ibis?
No,
the,
she's talking
the
about the
bin
bear.
chicken? I have. It's a beautiful bird.
The bin chicken. The
The
ibis.
bin chicken. I follow it around. They're survivors.
Oh wow, that's
I love the bin chickens.
Do you know? I think you.
When you're from Canada, it's a very exotic-looking bird.
It is.
It's
And
beautiful.
Yeah,
it's
agree
a
with
beautiful-looking bird. So you laugh all you want. I love the
super
bird.
cool. My mum took about 4 pictures before finding out it was the bin bird,
The bin chicken.
the bin chicken,
Okay,
whatever you guys call it.
You two might be the only people that I have ever heard say that they're a fan of the bin chicken.
Well, there'll be more now.
Okay. But speaking of fans, I did want to talk to you about Wynonna Earp because, look, you have shows that have viewers and it can be very, very, very popular. But Wynonna Earp has fans, but not only fans, but a community. And this is a community that you got a chance to meet, obviously, here at Comic-Con. But for someone who wasn't a part of the community, they don't know what it's all about. Can you explain what an Earper is?
An Earper is an accepting, beautiful human being that will welcome you into the community with open arms. I think that is the common denominator amongst all Earpers that I have met all across the world. This show really attracts such a special group of people, and everybody's become a family, which is really refreshing, especially, with our current climate. We need to be building more communities, so it's wonderful to see.
Yeah. And what stories have you read about or heard about that have come from the Earper community based on just goodwill?
Goodwill. Oh boy, some of these conventions we've seen proposals between the Earpers. When she mentions family, that is what they are. I've told this story before. I've been doing this for 20 years now, and I've never been part of a movement. And I call it a movement because that's what it is. It's not just a fan base. It's a movement. The Earpers, you don't mess with the Earpers.
Yeah,
they're a very loyal, loving group of people. And as far as goodwill, they're doing the what's going on today.
There's a beach cleanup today in Sydney. So
run by an Earper.
Run by an Earper, exactly. So often an Earper will organise an event around in the area of where the convention is held to sort of get people together and do an act of kindness. And today there's a beach cleanup to make sure that we keep our beaches clean.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I've been looking into the Earper support, the official Twitter handle. Are you guys aware of the Earper support handle?
Earper support.
Okay, so there is actually a Twitter community, and they help each other move house They give each other rides. There are this whole list of things that people have been doing and helping each other with, accommodation for the convention.
That doesn't surprise me.
At all.
No.
I'm like, yep, sounds
You tell me
about
that,
right.
and it's like, yep, that sounds like the Earpers.
Yeah.
Okay, which is just very. I'm sure it's very rewarding, particularly because this is a series which has garnered a great deal of fandom. But what do you think it is about this particular show which has made people just fall in love with it?
Go on, Mikey. You have a great answer for
You
this.
have a great answer too. You have part A, I got part B. I'll take part B. I think, for my opinion, this show, there's a character that represents everyone. You watch the show, you'll find yourself in someone in the show, and I think a lot of people identify with that, their own identity in the show, whether it's people who are going through anything. We have a character that represents that, and that builds the family element, I think. And people find each other online through this Earper movement, and I think that's what makes the show so popular. It's bringing families together. Like, when we say it's something different, like, I've never seen a show where we go to a convention and hundreds of people from all over the world, all over the world, they'll fly in from anywhere just to meet friends they haven't met before online, and they become friends, they become family. Some are getting engaged, they're finding love, all because of a TV show, that we're making. And I said it before, like, it's not about us, it's about them. This is their thing, and it's a beautiful thing when you see it. When you're face to face with it, there's nothing like it.
What is one of those more positive experiences you've had face to face with a fan so far?
In Brisbane, there were 8. I mean, it's going off what Mikey was saying, really, but there was, I think 8 to 10 Earpers that had never met before, and you would never have known it. Do you know the group that I'm talking about? They were. It was as if they were best friends. They'd been best friends for life, and they were weeping the day that they had to leave each other, because it was like there were Earpers from all over Australia that had all congregated and just made unbreakable bonds. And then at the end, it's like, I can't believe this is over, but they've made friends for life, and there's something so magical about that.
Now, you touched on characters and how you said that there was a character for anyone who's watching. I did want to talk about your character. It'd be very easy to say, okay, you're the villain, but I'm gonna quote Shrek. I'm gonna say that
Shrek.
Bobo is an onion. Lots of layers.
Definitely an onion.
So tell me about this onion.
Smelly old onion.
Initially you kind of make your mind up about your character relatively quickly, and then there's a whole level of complexity that reveals itself throughout the series. What is that like for you as an actor to sink your teeth into? What kind of work are you putting into Bobo?
Oh, well, it's one of the best characters I've ever played.
Wow.
Big
call.
No, it is, because exactly how you described it. There's so many layers to this guy, and they just keep unwinding and unraveling every season. There's more and more and more to the guy. He's not just your typical bad guy. At first, that's what I thought maybe he would be, but because of the writing we have on the show and the other actors that I'm fortunate enough to work with, he's become something more. And that's really cool to play, because you never know what you're going to get next. And so I don't even know what's going to happen next. I don't even know the answers to half the mysteries that this character has brought to the show. And we're still trying to figure out most of them. But as from an actor point of view, it's great.
Like, oh.
Yeah. And before I let you move away from this, I mean, we have a lot of actors that come in and talk about if they play a gnarly character, like a villain, you always find that they always have a part of them which tries to find the most redeeming aspects of their character. What are your thoughts? I mean, he does some evil stuff, but at the end, are you fond of him as a person?
Of course.
Or do you think that he's...
Yeah, you can never judge your character. That's like the first rule of acting. You never judge your character. And again, something I've repeated many times is, when I'm playing Bobo or a character like that, he, in my mind, he's not the bad guy. He's the hero.
Yeah.
He's the hero of the show.
Yep.
In my mind.
Sure.
People watching at home, that's their interpretation. But in my mind, he's the hero of the show. He's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Right? So
He's the hero of his own journey, isn't he?
exactly. Perception is reality. Reality is perception. Bobo's reality is he's the good guy.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, in that case, what about your character's perception of his character. That's a real loop. You know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you love me, sometimes you hate me.
Yeah, I think that's what I love most about Bobo is that you can't hate him. He's a complex cookie, but especially my character is constantly trying to see the good in everyone. So it's definitely a complex relationship.
You're just as
to
complex
figure out.
as Bobo.
I mean, because your character is
My
very
own way.
easy to like in that regard. So when you are like hanging out with your fans, do fans treat you both differently? Are you like, hey, Waverly, so good to see you. Oh, Bobo.
No, not at all. The Earpers are fantastic about firstly differentiating between Michael Eklund and Bobo and Dominique and Waverly.
Yeah. If I was walking around with a fur coat on, maybe they would treat me like Bobo, but
Yeah, you couldn't do that here.
no.
You'd melt.
No.
That's
maybe
true.
So very excited. Season 4 on the way. So that's getting shot next year, I believe. So for people who haven't seen the show and would like just a very quick recap, you know, what's going on? You know, for people watching Wynonna Earp, not recap because that would take way too long. But
Wynonna Earp in 10 seconds.
Wynonna Earp in 10 seconds. It's hard, but I think you can.
Is that what we're trying to do?
But I'm going to time you.
Oh my god! Go on. Let's try. I'll start. And then
I'll
we
give
can
you
add
30
to it.
seconds.
We got to
Right.
pick. There's so many characters, too.
I know exactly, and especially like 3 seasons. It's like you can sum up the first season, maybe. It's. I mean, go on. You can kick off.
Very vaguely. So for people who've
Wynonna
never
Earp.
seen the show but want to know what it's
Wynonna
about.
About a family.
Is Wyatt Earp's great-great-granddaughter, and she has inherited a curse that was put on the family over 150 years ago. And it is her job to put down all of Wyatt Earp's, the people that Wyatt Earp killed back in the day, that resurrect as revenants. And it's her job to put them all down in order to break the curse that was set on their family.
Using the gun of Wyatt Earp,
Wyatt Earp's
called Peacemaker.
Which is an amazing looking gun. And it turns out that you're having trouble breaking that curse. But, you know,
Wow.
people who haven't
That's
seen
my
the show
job.
might have to watch from season 1 to catch up before season 2. So when you guys heard the news that season 2 was getting shot, or season 4 was getting shot next year, where were you? How'd you feel? Were you thrilled? Were you excited?
Well, we've been
That's
on
a long story,
yeah,
too.
we've been on quite a journey with it. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but we have we were announced were we at Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Probably. Usually it's at Comic-Con, that we were going back for season 4, and everyone was very excited. We just, we were living the dream, just like in the swing of things, and everything seemed to be unraveling nicely. And then I was off traveling in Brazil, and I was waiting for my dates to come back to Calgary to start filming season 4, and just kept hearing nothing. I was like, this is bizarre. So I started messaging, my cast members, and nobody had been told anything. But we had a bit of a problem with coming back for season 4 in the end. So we have been waiting for how long, Mikey? Has it been in total?
Over a year now.
It's been over a year that we've been waiting. But this is where the Earpers become a movement, because they took it upon themselves to fight for the show that they love. And by doing that...
They were insane. They were insane in the most beautiful way. They've done everything from write letters to the production company, to the producers, to paying for billboards in New York.
In Times Square.
Square.
Fight for Wynonna.
With the hashtag Fight for Wynonna for over a year. And then it was only a few months ago we all found out that we're coming back for season 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
So because of the Earpers, a large part due to them.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. A round of applause for the Earpers.
Exactly.
I
Woo, woo,
mean,
woo, woo, woo. The heroes of our show.
grass movement.
Yeah.
Now, I did want to talk to you separately also about the roles that you seem to take. I mean, obviously, you really embrace the darkness. You've played a little bit more of a diverse range of characters. Also, dipping your toe into the Marvel universe. Just a little poke there. Is this is the Marvel kind of universe something that you'd like to delve into as a character, a superhero? Is that your vibe?
Not really. But it was a really cool experience to have. It feels like a long time ago now. It was like 21. I had a very, very interesting experience on that. I helped out a little bit with also because Scarlett was 6 months pregnant, so they needed an actress to play Black Widow and help out with that as well. So part of the reason why I had a little part in it was also because I was doubling for Scarlett as well.
Wow,
which was interesting.
That's wild.
But it was, Shrink. I played like a small part called Shrinker, and she was an Eastern European.
In which one?
In Age of Ultron.
Which is why I said dip, because it was
I'm going to go back and watch this now.
It was such a brief appearance,
Yeah.
but it's funny how even the tiniest of appearances in the Marvel universe, you've already got backstories, and people are creating these whole storylines based about you, which was why I was interested to see if this is something that you'd like to revisit, is something like the Marvel universe, something you'd like to get back into. But being Scarlett is also great.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I personally, I sort of gravitate to the smaller, sort of low budget indie movies more than wanting to be part of the big Marvel kind of universe and all the sort of larger films. But listen, you're never going to say no, are you?
Never.
Yeah.
Of course you'd say yes.
And Mike, I'd like to talk to you about Into the Forest, which is terrifying. But you got to work alongside some brilliant actresses. What was it like working on that particular?
Into the Forest with Ellen Page and Evan Rachel Wood?
Yes.
It's interesting because not a lot of people bring that one up, so I'm always surprised when someone mentions it. But what was it like working on it?
Yeah. Well, to break it down for the people that don't know, you played a very, very bad man.
Very interesting role, yeah. Did some very bad things to some very lovely girls.
And when you're offered a role like that, take me through it. When you read a character that's doing something awful, is there almost hesitation to play someone who's so repugnant?
No, it's a role. It's a story being told. Somebody's going to play the role. They're not going to stop making the movie because I said no.
Yeah.
So I say yes.
Okay.
But when I do say yes to a role like that, I do take it on to it being part of the actor's job to provide that element of safety on set too, because of a lot of actors wouldn't.
Sure.
And so when you're doing roles like that, a male-female role that's very intense, there is a trust element between the two actors that need to be there, and I take that very seriously. So I take that on board while I play those roles.
If it's not too personal question, how do you create that level of trust with something that is so violent? Do safe words? I mean, I wouldn't even know. There
is that. I did a film called The Call, which is a more intense film than Into the Forest, was with Halle Berry and Abigail Breslin. And I was playing a serial killer. And this is a perfect story for your question. And the director originally didn't want me and Abigail Breslin to be friends. They're like, stay away from each other because it'll bring an element to the film that makes it more intense. He didn't want her to like me. I wasn't supposed to like her. As we started working, I felt very quickly that we needed to bridge that gap and become friends, to have that trust element. So we did. So we became really close friends. And then by hanging out, by talking, by making sure that she felt okay, that when I put a screwdriver to her head, that I'm not going to actually puncture her, her temple or... But yeah, you just do it like anyone at work. Going to set, it's like going to a job. You got to work with your coworkers, and how do you do that? You want them to like you, so tell them a few jokes. And it's like any other job. So, but with those roles, yeah, it's very important that you establish that safety and that trust, so that you can have a good time while you're making the movie too, instead of just being scared of each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds unbelievably challenging as
it's
an
fun
actor.
too. It's fun.
But probably fun because it's so difficult.
It's make believe.
Yeah.
We are playing.
Okay. Now, I mean, that sounds like one of the more intense and challenging experiences as an actor for Michael. But what about you? What has been one of the biggest challenges so far in your career, Dominique?
I also did a scene of similar nature when I was right at the beginning of my career in a movie where I had to be. I was being force-fed heroin and trafficked girl, and it was incredibly difficult because it is make-believe. I think there's just such a you want to portray it as truthfully as possible, and yet if you haven't, you can't have. I hadn't had any of those experiences, so there was only so much research you can do, and then obviously on the day it's just hoping it all comes together. So that was quite challenging for sure. Yeah.
And the research part of it would also be quite a fair bit of heartbreak to take on.
Absolutely.
Is there a part of you that almost has to kind of put it to the side and not let it affect your real life too much? Or do you kind of take that on as a human from there forth?
I think every role that you take on, you learn from, and you take that information on to the next, to being a sort of better rounded human being and more knowledgeable.
I just stay away from people when I'm playing bad guys because they don't want to be around me during that time, because I do kind of stay in it, when I go home. So I just kind of disappear for a while.
What do you do to knock off? Like, how do you de-stress from, killing people?
Fake killing people.
Fake. Okay. Whoa.
Well, how do you de-stress when you go home after a bad day and you had a fight at work?
Video games and whiskey.
Same
There
thing.
you go.
There you go. Video games and whiskey.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a gamer.
What else are we supposed to do?
Are you a gamer?
I don't know.
I've played games.
Okay, so we have some questions coming in from some of your fans. Can you tell us one of the craziest stories from set?
What's that?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Do you have any crazy stories from set?
See, I'm always very serious on set. I
I
never am
know.
around the crazy stuff.
We struggle with this question as a cast, bizarrely, because you would think there would be so many crazy stories. All of sort of, my stories involve the cold.
Like our set's pretty, everyone takes their job pretty serious. We come there, we work. There's not a lot of goofing around. We work very well together. I think the only thing I can think of is just, who's like Tim? Is he like the practical joker?
But we don't have a practical
No,
joker.
we don't even have
We've
a practical
decided that
joker.
we're going to start doing practical jokes as of next
Just
year.
to have
so
an
that
answer
we
for
have
this question.
So we have an answer.
Nothing crazy happens on the set.
Oh, well, what about offset though? So if after knockoff time, do you guys all hang out, or is it that's it? I work with these people. I don't want to see them again.
No, we absolutely hang out, but it's more just like.
Do we?
I mean.
Do we really?
Yeah, we don't really, do we?
Everyone just goes
Everyone
their
goes-
separate ways and we see each other the next day.
Yeah, it's true. It's a very intense 5 months, as you can imagine. We're shooting big, huge amounts of stuff per day, and obviously we don't have a huge amount of money, so for a show with quite a lot of special effects and all that sort of thing, we're cramming a lot in, and especially like Melanie is doing insane amounts. And also, what I think is so great about our show is that even though it's in the sci-fi genre and all of that, we really do cover a lot of sort of really important topics, and it's high emotional stuff.
Because while we are dealing with demons and things that don't really exist,
Highly emotional stuff.
there's real
Demons.
kind of
It's
dynamics
really
as
human,
which is
yeah,
probably
it's really human.
the part of the charm
Yeah.
of this particular show.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm just really upset that you guys don't hang out and do karaoke after you finished shooting.
Now, on the weekends are different.
Yeah.
We go for brunch.
Yeah, we do brunch.
There's a lot of brunch that goes on.
Because I just really want to hear
Brunch.
you sing Amy Winehouse,
yeah.
Valerie.
Yeah.
We didn't even find out what Mikey's karaoke song is really quickly.
Piano Man.
Oh,
Billy Joel.
beautiful. I would love to sing Piano Man.
Maybe you will someday. If we hang out after we hang out on set, maybe we should go karaoke.
Okay, great.
Another question coming in from the fans. Do you perform all your own stunts?
That's a good question. I do as much as I can.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There was one day where my character there was an explosion and he backflipped through the air. I can't do that. I had somebody else double me for that. But I try to do most of the fighting and more of the smaller stunts, which they're doable. But
I do my rolls, my all that stuff.
Your Pilates and yoga gets you ready
Yeah,
for that.
absolutely.
Yeah. One of the things I will say about the Wynonna Earp series is that it's got so many trailer moments, like scenes that would fit so perfectly. like you putting a cigarette out inside of a loaded gun.
Yeah.
Mwah!
We go for those trailer moments. It's
Fantastic.
a good trailer moment.
Are you fans, or have you read the original graphic novels?
No. I've looked through them.
You've browsed.
I've looked at the pictures, but I haven't read them.
I read the first few when I got cast in the role. My
That's
mum
very
found them
professional
for
of
me.
you, Dominique.
Thank you very much.
My character is very different than the comic book, so I didn't think it would help me.
Yeah, and soon realised that it wasn't. It didn't really impact what we were doing on the show.
So James has dropped you a message saying, "What are your loves outside of acting?"
Hi, James.
Do we know James?
Well, no, I'm just saying hello.
It
to
sounds
him.
like,
very broad
sound
name.
like you knew him.
Maybe we do.
Passions outside of
Acting.
You have many. You'll go on. You have a list.
I like playing guitar and writing music. It's a big, big passion that is coming through extremely strongly, especially over the past year. I've had a bit of a sort of musical awakening that has happened. So songwriting is right on up there, and maybe we'll,
And for
Break
us,
through.
if we would like to listen to you sing and like to listen to you play guitar
I would have to do that for
Okay.
you.
right now. Well, funnily enough, we brought a guitar.
No.
Is there anywhere we can find your music online?
No, I haven't. It's only ever been in my bedroom and in the shower.
Soon,
at
coming
this point.
soon.
Coming soon. I would really like to, and I think it's definitely on the cards. So I will keep everyone updated as and when it comes out. Yeah.
Very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, no worries.
You film in an amazing part of the world. So this next fan asks, what does that bring to your performances?
Shooting in Calgary, it brings the sense of cold. There's this thing that Bobo does where he chatters his teeth. He clicks his teeth.
about that.
Yeah,
Why do you do that?
I just chatted. And it was so cold one day in Calgary that I couldn't speak. So I just did that once, and became a Bobo thing.
Yeah, dentists around the country just shook. Like,
But it's because it's so cold.
You
Yeah.
do it really cool though. You do like a double clack clack. Like, it's like
Oh, is there?
clack. It's almost like you're. I don't know how you do it.
I don't know how I do it, but
He's super cool. He
but
just
I mean,
does
you
it.
shouldn't have anything to worry about. Look at that fur coat. What are you talking
Look at
about?
that.
it's still cold.
Really?
It gets cold.
Oh yeah.
I
It's
mean,
freezing
Minus 40, 45 degrees in Calgary in the winter.
in the
I mean,
woods as well. with
This
the
isn't a
wind.
question from the fans.
And
this
there's
is
no shirt underneath
under
the
that.
fur coat. It's just the
bare
fur coat.
chesting.
Bare chesting.
Yeah. I mean, do you take that jacket after the shoots and do you wear it out? Because it's
No, I
pretty
wish.
boss.
I wish, but they lock it up pretty tight.
They snatch it off you. Okay, what do you do to prepare for shooting? This is from Elizabeth.
I learned my lines.
It's a good place to start. Learn your lines. It depends. Every scene I tackle differently. Some scenes require a lot more work than other scenes,
Yeah.
and you sort of go through
And after this long, we're going into our fourth season, we know our characters so well that you don't have to do the same amount of prep that you maybe had to do when we first started the show. Like, you give me the coat and I'm ready to go.
Great.
If I know my lines and I have my coat,
Let's
that's my
play.
prep.
Is putting on the
Let's
coat a part of the
play.
getting into character?
Yeah.
Just
I'm
like-
so excited.
Of course it
Oh my
is.
God.
For all of us. We all have our kind of our signature character look that we all have. Yeah, I can't feel like the character unless I have.
Mine sort of has evolved quite a lot. Like
Yeah, yours is
my
different.
look, and she's been growing quite a lot. Little waves. It's going to be cool to see what Jen has in store for season 4. She always
Never
has.
know.
Our costume designer is incredible, and she brings so much she just has like such a good eye for like adding certain colours in, like into the colour palette of like, I think Waverley's maybe evolved from
You're
the...
definitely the color of the show.
Yeah, definitely got a lot of colour going on, for sure.
Okay, I'll ask one more question from the fans, and that is, we have some great Aussie directors and stories to tell. How's your Aussie accent?
Hey, you.
Even
Working on
though,
yours.
ever thought of playing an Aussie character? Here we go.
I haven't even tried an Australian accent, and I'm not about to. But you have.
I'm trying to get out of him slowly.
So if I was going to ask you about your day, and you were going to respond to
Yours
Australian,
is really good.
Yeah, go on.
No, I mean, I don't know. You know, it's like...
I told you not to open this door.
No, that's the thing. Apparently now I'm going to have to do it all the time. I've gone suddenly very shy, but it does... I don't know. It's quite difficult, the Aussie accent, but I think it's more... Okay, that says it all. Is it terrible?
So we would feel more encouraged to do it if there wasn't so much laughter.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is nice. All I can say is it sounds
We would like to hear your Canadian accent.
Oh, what's that about? I don't know.
Oh.
I can't do it. It's I wouldn't dare to offend you. It almost sounds as like you're doing the Australian accent at the end of the movie Point Break, where they had a bunch of American actors attempting to be Australian cops.
Fantastic.
Which sounds like a
Bloody
mix
beauty.
of New Zealand and
Yeah,
Australia.
well, the thing is I have to be honest, and also South African sometimes comes in there as well.
But here's the thing, you'll
Same
never
accent.
offend us. It's just nice to see you
It's
try.
just fun.
Yeah, totally.
It's just very lovely to see you try it. Now, before I let you go, obviously we've got some huge things coming from the Wynonna Earp universe coming in the future. I know that you've got Antlers, which is another horror film that looks... can you tell us a little bit about Antlers?
I can't say much about it yet. It's not, they're just finishing it off right now.
Okay.
But it's gonna be good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that one.
It seems to be a very dark story about, again, some demonic entities and...
There'll be probably some antlers in it.
Okay.
That's the best I can say.
Thanks for that.
Some antlers that might hurt people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for you, besides Wynonna Earp, what have we got on the horizon? Are you going to win some more awards for most popular?
I don't think so. No, I've got a couple of movies coming out eventually. I'm not sure when. A Season of Love, which is the first ever queer Christmas movie.
Ah.
And then Like a House on Fire, which I'm really excited about, which tackles the subject of postpartum depression, which is really different and awesome. And
Okay, well, we're all very much looking forward to the next season of Wynonna Earp. We're looking forward to your music. We're looking out to more scary stuff from you, Michael, which seems to be a penchant of yours.
I have a funny one coming out.
Do you?
I did a Legends of Tomorrow episode
Cool.
where I play Rasputin.
Cool.
So that's kind of funny.
Also, I have to say that Michael has like the cutest, like kindest heart, and is not.
But it's black.
Yeah.
He rules with an iron fist, but a velvet glove.
But a velvet glove. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here in
you.
the Build Studios. A round of applause
Thank
for
you very much.
Michael and Dominique. If you want to catch out Wynonna Earp, check it out. It's fantastic.
Thank you very much.